Welcome back to Hometown Movies. My name is Michael Kelly, and our guest this evening is Jan Worth, a poet from Flint. I noticed the term poetess has all but disappeared. Is that not politically correct now, or what?
It's not politically correct. Somebody said that the S sound is sinister, so I think it's good that it's been left off.
Okay. Well, you could have poets and poeters, maybe.
Poeters,
poeters, yeah. Poemers would be better. Poemers.
Poet men or something.
Yeah, poet men.
And like poet women.
Yeah, they're the people that deliver the mail, right? Let's talk a little bit about your own writing process. Mm-hmm. Do you find that there is a pattern that works for you, or does sometimes some come quickly and some you have to anguish over, or is there a regular pattern?
I don't have a very regular pattern. I'm not a person who writes every day. You know, I'm sure you've heard the term the gimme. You have a poem that comes in a flash. It comes hot. That doesn't happen very often. It's a blessing. It's a little bit of grace when it does happen. One nice thing about writing a poem is that you can get something framed out in a short time, where if you're trying to write a short story or, God forbid, a novel, it takes a long time before you know what you've got. I usually compose very quickly and then come back to it later. But I have had poems that I have anguished over for years, and they've never come right, and then all of a sudden I get an idea of how to finish the darn thing. It's taken years on some little 10-line poem, you know. So there's you may know this feeling yourself, but there's sort of an unease that you get, a restlessness that you get when you eventually find out it's time for something to come out. And the restlessness is sometimes a cue, time to sit down and see what happens.
How often do you write?
Well, right now I'm in an MFA program that's requiring me to write and send off packets of work every 3 weeks. So right now I'm probably writing a couple days a week for several hours, which is more than I used to do. It's become much more regular in this program, and I like that. I like the prompt. It's a little bit reminiscent of those days of journalism where you've got some deadlines and somebody's saying, I want to see this many new poems by this date. So right now it's something that I'm doing every weekend. I'm spending some time at it, and occasionally during the weeknights too, depending on the inspiration.
How often do you write something and look at it and find that it pleases you to a degree that maybe you don't really even care what other people say? This one you just enjoy this yourself. Somewhat of the time. I think some of the ones that are in that book I look back on with considerable pleasure. It is funny though, you go through phases where nobody likes a given poem and you're still sort of stuck on it, you know, like you're the only one that likes it. It's sort of like the ugly duckling or something, but there are a few that I continue to look on with pleasure. Would you read this one? I'm going to ask you to read one of the poems from your book.